Good evening, everyone. Lord, you're worthy.
Lord, you're worthy, and we give you the
Lord,
praise.
you're worthy.
Lord, you're worthy,
And we give you
and we give you the praise.
always making a way.
Always making a way,
And we give you,
and we give you the
Lord,
praise.
you're worthy.
Lord, you're worthy,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're worthy.
Lord, you're worthy,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're worthy.
Lord, you're worthy,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
always making a way.
Always making a way,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're worthy.
Lord, you're worthy,
And we give you,
and we
now
give you the
somebody
praise.
clap your hands. Lord, you're awesome.
Lord, you're awesome,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're awesome.
Lord, you're awesome,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
always making a way.
Always making a way,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're awesome.
Lord, you're awesome,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're awesome.
Lord, you're
Yeah.
awesome,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're awesome.
Lord, you're awesome,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
always making a way.
Always making a way,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're awesome.
Lord, you're awesome,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're faithful.
Lord, you're faithful,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're faithful.
Lord, you're faithful,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
always making a way.
Always making a way,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're faithful.
Lord, you're faithful,
And we give you,
and we give you the
somebody
praise.
clap your hands. Lord, you're righteous.
Lord, you're righteous,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're righteous.
Lord, you're righteous,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
always making a way.
Always making a way,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're righteous.
Lord, you're righteous,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're worthy.
Lord, you're worthy,
And we give you,
and we give you the praise.
Lord, you're worthy.
Lord, you're worthy,
And we give you,
and we give you the
you're
praise.
always making a way.
Always
Let the glory of the Lord rise among us. Let the glory of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Let it rise. Let the glory of the Lord rise among us. Let the glory of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Let it rise. We cry, oh, oh, let it rise. We cry, oh, oh, let it rise. Let the glory of the Lord rise among us.
Let the glory of the Lord rise
Let the
among us.
presence of our
Let the
King
presence of our King
rise among us.
rise among us. Let it rise.
Let the glory of the
Let the
Lord
glory of the Lord
rise among us.
rise
Let the
among us.
glory of
Let
the
the
Lord
glory of the Lord
rise among us.
rise
Let the
among us.
presence of
Let
our
the
King
praises of our King
rise among us.
rise among us. Let it rise.
And we cry out,
Let it rise.
we cry out, let the song of the Lord rise among us. Let the songs of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Let the songs of the Lord rise among us. Let the songs of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. We cry, oh, let it rise. We cry, oh, let it rise. Let the dance of the Lord rise among us. Let the dance of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Let the dance of the Lord rise among us. Let the dance of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. We cry out, let it rise. We cry out, say let it rise. Somebody say let it rise. Say let it rise. Say let it rise. You are my strength, strength like no other. strength. You are my strength.
Strength like no other.
Strength like no other.
Strength like no other.
Reaches to me.
Reaches to me.
One more time, you are my
You are
strength.
my strength.
Oh, no.
Strength like no other.
Strength like no other.
Strength like no other.
Reaches to me.
Reaches to me.
And it's in the fullness of
In
your
the fullness of your grace.
in the power.
In the power of your name.
You lift me up.
Lift me up.
Oh, you lift me up.
Lift me up.
And it's in the fullness of
In
your
the
grace.
fullness of your
And
grace.
it's in the
In the
power.
power of your
You
name.
lift me up.
Lift me up.
Hey, you lift me up.
You lift me
And it's in the
up.
fullness of
In
your
the
grace.
fullness of your grace.
In the
In
power.
the power of your
You
name.
lift me
You
up.
lift me up.
You lift me up.
You lift me up.
Oh, love lifted me. Love lifted me. When nothing else could help. Love lifted me. Love
Lifted me.
lifted me.
Love lifted me.
When nothing,
When nothing else could help.
love
Lifted me.
we say love,
Love lifted me.
love lifted.
Love lifted me.
When nothing,
When nothing else could help.
it was
Love lifted me.
love lifted.
Love lifted me.
Oh, it was
Love lifted me.
when nothing,
When nothing else could help.
love lifted
me.
Good evening, everybody. Come on, you can do better than that. Good evening, everybody. There you go, there you go. My name is Alexander Porter, and I'm the pastor of the wonderful Wallingford Presbyterian Church and the zesty Zion Olivet Presbyterian Church. Charleston, listen, we got it from downtown all the way to North Charleston. Come on. Amen. Listen, join us in a word of prayer. Now, you do know that every time everybody's together, sometimes we do a corporate prayer, like the Lord's Prayer, or we recite the 23rd Psalm. Here is our prayer. It's written in your bulletin. I don't want to be the only one praying, amen? So listen, join me now in our prayer. Let's pray. Most awesome, holy, and divine Creator, the one who is responsible for life, love, justice, and peace. We invoke your presence into this sacred space, This indeed is a sacred space because it is a place where people of all backgrounds have come together to do what we know to be right and true, to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with you. We come first acknowledging that we are not chartering a new path. Rather, we come in the tradition of our ancestors, following in the footsteps of those who have sacrificed time, talent, and even their very lives so that all people might be free and experience justice. Secondly, we come petitioning you to provide us with good wisdom and discernment. Let all that we do tonight be right, honest, and true, and be a proper demonstration of what it means to love our neighbors. Let it bring about healing and wholeness, justice, joy, liberation, and love. In the name of the Holy One we pray. Say it like you mean it. No, you got to do it 3 times. Amen, amen, and amen. Come on, let's give up some praise in the house. This is a house of praise. Now listen, before we get started, we want to recognize, I think I see them out there. Wrong side, wrong side, wrong side. Yeah, I think I see a number of them out there. Now they're listed in our agenda, okay? So the Cajun's mission is to bring justice to the Charleston area and our neighbors. To make it sure that it is a good place to live, work, and play. Our business partners, they understand that the mission and our proven results benefit them, their families, their employees, and their employees' family. Our corporate sponsors show through the action of investing in Cajun that they prioritize, listen, they prioritize people over profit. Now, every investor wants a return. And the good news is Cajun gives a return to the investment. Now, although they're listed in your bulletin, and I'm used to saying bulletin in church, y'all. Although they're listed in our agenda, we're not picking on you, but we would like for you to please stand so that you can be recognized by this community. Would anyone who's a part of our corporate businesses who have contributed over the past year, would you please stand and be recognized? Look at it. Look, there you go. I knew they were here. Yes. So on behalf of the Charleston Area Justice Ministry, we thank you for being in relationship with Cajun. Your investment will help bring about change in our community. Let's give them one big more applause, y'all. Come on. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I'd like to also officially welcome everyone else who's here. But first, I want to know, are there any first-time attendees? All of our first-time attendees stand. Please. There you go. Look at them, show it up. Look at them, show it up. So we welcome all of the brothers and sisters here to the Nehemiah Action. We have showed up tonight, but we're going to keep doing it over and over again. Together, we will hear tonight some good news. Don't we need some good news today? Some good news, and we will hear about the work that is yet to be done. So through it all, we keep what? Showing up time and time again. Thank you all for being here so that we can continue to do the work that's assigned to our hands. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce or to bring on one of my sisters, a good friend of mine, the Right Reverend Patricia Jones, who's the pastor of the Hebron Zion Presbyterian Church in downtown Johns Island, South Carolina. Come on up, Pat.
Thank you, Reverend Porter. He said that with his chest. Amen, amen. In keeping with our theme, when we keep showing up, we win. When we show up, when we show up, we win. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our annual Nehemiah Action. This action is a powerful moment in KSUM's 13-year journey of justice, persistence, and faith in action. It's not just showing up once that wins victories. It's the persistence of showing up, time after time, year after year. Through challenges and setbacks, we persist. This commitment is reflected in our name. Nehemiah was a leader who faced the impossible task of rebuilding Jerusalem's walls. He did not complete this work in a single day or with a single effort. Instead, he and his people returned daily despite resistance, threats, and fatigue. And because they persisted, somebody say persisted. Because they persisted, they rebuilt what others said was impossible. And that's our story too. KSUM was born 13 years ago, not as a moment, but as a movement. Our gathering tonight, this Nehemiah Action, is proof of our endurance and determination. Over these years, we have witnessed the persistent power of people. Together, we've claimed victories that didn't come easily. First, establishing restorative practices in our schools. One of our most powerful examples, one of our most powerful victories that came because we kept showing up, meeting after meeting and year after year. And then we have the 2 medical units that we secured last year. We thank Roper St. Francis Hospital and Federal Healthcare for their dedication to addressing the needs and creating accessible options for our most vulnerable community members. Let's give them a hand. And this year, we would like to acknowledge Charleston County government, Charleston County Council, for establishing an affordable housing trust fund. This action took years of advocacy. Yes, let's give them a hand. This action took years of advocacy and negotiation. It took years of us showing up at county council meetings, pleading our case, pleading the case of the people who cannot even afford to live in the areas in which they work and serve. And then we have our policing issues, where we continue to ask for accountability from our local police departments, and we have seen some improvements in those areas. But every win has a story of struggle behind it, my friends. And let's be honest, our current challenges are not getting easier. The housing crisis is worse than ever. Disparities in education and opportunities still plague our neighborhoods. And now we face direct attacks on the very idea of community organizing. Efforts to silence civic voices by rolling back DEI and undermining engagement. Why? Because those in power would rather have us disengaged and disconnected. This is not a time for us to be disengaged. This is a time for us to come together as a community and do what must be done. We will not be disengaged. We will not sit back and do nothing. CAJM is the response to what we are now facing. It is through our collective efforts. We've created more than an organization. We've built a community of action. Here in CAJM, ordinary people become extraordinary advocates. Here we practice authentic civic engagement that goes beyond the ballot box to the boardroom, to the council chamber, and the community meeting. Here we discover how our collective voice, grounded in faith and driven by hope, can create lasting change. The diversity in this room, our languages, our cultures, and our stories, they serve as our power and not as weaknesses. And so we keep, and so we keep showing up because our neighbors are still suffering. We keep showing up because our children are watching and we are setting the example. Presence, my friends, presence, my friends, presence, my friends, is significant. But persistence brings transformation. The book of Nehemiah tells us the people had a mind to work. The people had a mind to work. Despite the threats, despite the mockery, despite the odds, their commitment was more substantial than their opposition. And so is ours. Tonight, as we lift our voices and bring our collective demands for justice, remember this: when we keep showing up, we win. As we lift our voices and bring our collective demands for justice, remember our call and response. And so when I say, when we show up, you say, we win. When we show up, we win. When we show up, we win. Tonight and every day, let us be like the prophet Amos, who gives us a call to action in Amos chapter 5, verse 24. Let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. CAJM, let's keep building, let's keep building, let's keep building, and let's keep believing, and let us never stop showing up, because when we show up, when we show up, when we show up, we win. Thank you.
Okay, well, that'll fire us up. Good evening, CAJM. I'm great. Good, nice to hear from you. I'm Suzanne Hardy, co-chair of the Charleston Police Equity Committee. Since 2015, CAJM has been working to significantly reduce racial disparities in traffic stops by the Charleston Police Department. Have we been successful? Absolutely. Are we declaring success? Well, not quite yet. Let's recap our journey. In our 2015 House meetings, we heard from hundreds of members of our African American community of many traffic stops by police, but we heard no such stories from white members. South Carolina public records showed that African American drivers in Charleston were being stopped over 2 times more than white drivers, even though they're less than 30% of drivers. It's not only unfair, it makes our city less safe. Research also showed that Charleston Police Department made a lot of public contact stops at the time, about 25,000 in 2015. Now, for these stops, people weren't being arrested or getting even a ticket, just being stopped for things like mirror hangings, missing license tags, etc. 25,000. So what did CAJM do? We mobilized against the injustice. We showed up again and again and again, at city council meetings to demand change. And after 2 years, city council voted unanimously to conduct a racial bias audit. We showed up and we won. We showed up and we won. Now, doing the audit was just the beginning. We had to keep pushing Charleston Police Department and council to show progress from the audit's findings and recommendations. 4 years later, in 2023, progress on the implementation of the audit was finally reported. Again, we showed up and we won. The report showed that CPD, Charleston Police Department, lowered public contact traffic stops from 25,000 to 6,000 in 2023, a whopping 75% drop. Now, further, the changes recommended by the audit have made the police department much better in their data collection and analyses, in their recruiting, and ensuring equitable personnel practices, and responding to community complaints. These are wins for the community, all caused by CAJM. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, while CPD has made significant progress, we still have a way to go to make our city really fair and safe. Yes, fewer people are being unnecessarily stopped, but the racial disparity in traffic stops, in searches, and in arrests from traffic stops remain for African Americans. And the Charleston Police Department has no plan to address those injustices. We brought those concerns to Mayor Cogswell, and he challenged us to come up with a solution. So we did. We dove into the national research, which showed significant progress in reducing racial disparities across the country since we started the work in 2015. And the suggested solution is truly a win-win-win. Quite simply, the highest disparities in traffic stops occur in those public contact stops where people are not breaking the law or driving unsafely. They're more subjective stops. In cities across the nation, police departments have stopped or limited making those non-safety related stops. And guess what's happened? Well, first, police put more focus on serious traffic violations and crimes, which have measurably improved traffic safety and reduced deaths across the nation. Police are therefore much more effective at protecting the community and not causing harm in communities of color. And racial disparities naturally diminish because the non-safety related public contact stops are the reason for most of the racial disparities. And further, it's been proven that crime does not increase with fewer of these stops. Again, a win-win-win. So is this right for Charleston? Absolutely. And even beyond the racial disparity issue, did you know that Charleston is the 12th most dangerous city for driving and the 9th deadliest city for pedestrians in the country? I don't know how many of you did, but I hear a chuckle. That's why we've asked Chief Walker to implement a policy that limits traffic stops for minor violations, because by reducing these stops, police can focus on more effective safety strategies like DUI, speeding, and reckless driving. Now, to date, Chief Walker has been unwilling to discuss our proposal with us. Yet, interestingly, in the past year, CPD has directed significantly more effort at DUI stops. Charleston even got an award from the state for that work. And Charleston Police Department has also recently put in place monthly efforts to focus on traffic safety violations across the city. Does this sound familiar? This is exactly what we're asking for, and to make it a permanent policy versus a special effort every now and then. So this is where you come in. We've been successful, but not quite completed our goal. Our proposed solution, a policy to limit non-safety related traffic stops that will enable more focus on public safety, the stops that really are affecting safety, will improve police effectiveness and thereby reduce racial disparities. So if you agree with this proposal, now's the time to make some noise. Woohoo! It would have been great for Mayor Cogswell and Chief Walker to hear us tonight, but they declined our invitation. We know policing is not something to be done to us. As citizens, we should be heard and treated as partners versus adversaries. So stay tuned for a new call for direct action, because when we show up, we win. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mary Coster, and I'm a member of Circular Congregational Church. I'm also an environmental scientist and educator. And what has drawn me to CAJM is that we celebrate nature as sacred, environmental justice as right, and creating corridors of care as necessary, not just nice. Today, it's my privilege to share the work of the CAJM Environmental Justice Committee, which stands with Friends of Gadsden Creek and the South Carolina Environmental Law Project against the fill and build development on a critical tidal wetland named Gadsden Creek in a historic African American settlement community. We stand with the residents of Gadsden Green Home public housing community. You know, when developers seek permits that can cause continued harm to environmental justice communities like Gadsden Green, this is not okay with CAJM. It is not okay to rob Gullah communities of their natural resources or displace them from their homes. In CAJM, science matters. So we say no to several things. We say no to an elevated wall of condos, hotels, and pavement, which scientists have warned would introduce even more flooding and heat health hazards to Gadsden Green residents. We say no to placing any kind of stormwater retention pond, which the developer calls a water feature, so near the tidal creek. Do not be fooled by that. Environmental scientists have predicted that doing so would create a breeding ground for disease-causing pathogens. Children live near and around Gadsden Creek. With our children and youth in mind, CAJM says yes to Gadsden Creek, continuing to serve as an outdoor environmental science classroom for all Charleston students. Okay, I'm going to take you back in the past. It was the first day of the trial in the South Carolina Environmental Law Court, where the case of Friends of Gadsden Creek versus West Edge Development and South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control was heard. Our small tribe of Friends of Gadsden Creek warriors sat behind our legal team from the South Carolina Environmental Law Project. The suits were on the other side. The lead attorney comes up in her literal suit. I don't think I've ever even owned a suit, but anyway. The lead attorney for the developer addressed the judge with her back to us and dismissively gestures to us. Literally, it was like this. She goes, "Your Honor, we had everybody in this community convinced that this development was the right thing to do until these people came along." Well, what this attorney apparently forgot is that CAJM people were also in this fight with Friends of Gadsden Creek. I used to be a Little League baseball coach, and when we were down, we would call, see if you remember this, rally caps on. This means we're not going away, and neither is KJM. We will continue to rally for the residents of Gadsden Green and with this creek. As part of our commitment, we've built strong community and relationships with the South Carolina Aquarium and others for regularly scheduled Gadsden Creek cleanups. And Gadsden Creek is thriving. You might remember at last year's action that you saw a film where now Mayor Cogswell pledged to Mika Gadsden that he would stand with preserving and protecting Gadsden Creek. Do you all remember that? Do you also remember that the incumbent John Tecklenburg refused to do the same thing? Do you also remember that Mayor Cogswell won the runoff after Mika Gadsden endorsed him? And do you know that as mayor, he has now named Mika Gadsden the director of the City Office of Sustainability? Yeah. There's more. Though he couldn't make last year's Nehemiah Action, Mayor Cogswell and members of his staff honored KJM's request, KJM did this, to join the residents of Gadsden Green to walk their creek and hear their voices and concerns. No prior Charleston mayor had ever done anything like this before. Go KJM, right? And as a result of this walk with the creek, with the residents, Mayor Cogswell got to hear environmental engineer and KJM supporter Joshua Robinson's robust proposal for protecting this creek and teaching the mayor about the free ecosystem services that this creek provides, like 10 times more flood water storage than the proposed system of pipes and pumps. Developers should call that natural capital, value added. But no voice is more important in this work than those of the residents of Gadsden Green themselves. I'd now like to introduce you to Miss Angela Washington, whose voice and position on this issue are powerful indeed.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Angela Washington, but in my neck of the woods, which is BTG, I'm known as Miss Ange, and I am BTG proud. I love my neighborhood. I love my neighbors. So I want to let you know that we're here tonight to talk about why it matters now more than ever to save, restore, and revitalize Gadsden Creek. Because the win for the creek is victory for my neighborhood. I want y'all to know that I've been living there for the last 10 years. I haven't seen this much attention, and it's all negative because they don't think we're a neighborhood. BTG is a neighborhood. Hey, I say I love my neighbors, I love my neighborhood. So I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful that the mayor considered us and went on this walk with us around our creek. You have to understand that the creek is God's creation. And that's the reason why when they put that landfill up and then they started building on the creek, Joseph P. Riley Stadium, sinking. Okay? Police headquarters, sinking. Now, I've been working as an associate at Publix, that's 10 West Edge. And scaffolding has been around this building since they put it up. because it's sinking. You don't mess with God's creation. So I'm real hopeful about the restoration and the revitalization of Gaston Creek. And I know that we've made small strides, but these small strides are great victories. And again, like I said, victory for the creek is a win for BTG. I personally want to thank CAJM and FOGC, and when we fight, when we fight, when we fight,
You see what I mean? Wow. Okay. So in every instance, CAJM has been a key player in securing these environmental justice wins. So far, Gaston Creek, guess what, has not been destroyed. And this is true even though our own South Carolina Supreme Court ruled that it was okay to do just that. I'd now like to introduce you to my friend and colleague, Dr. Blake Scott, who will tell you about the next chapter of this vital and ongoing work. Dr. Scott.
Good evening, CAJM friends. My name is Blake Scott. I'm a member of the Unitarian chapter of CAJM, and thank you for letting me share some of our ideas for action with you all tonight. Before I share our project, the Marsh Project, I'd like to share a quote with you from a famous but sometimes forgotten son of Charleston, an esteemed marine biologist by the name of Dr. Ernest Everett Just. Dr. Just said, quote, "We feel the beauty of nature because we are part of nature. And because we know that however much in our separate domains we abstract from the unity of nature, this unity remains. Although we may deal with particulars, we return finally to the whole pattern woven out of these," end quote. Thank you, Dr. Just, for these wise words. This evening, I'm here to share our own particular effort to weave the whole of nature back into our community in Charleston. In 2022, I co-founded the Marsh Project, a small grassroots group with two friends. The Marsh Project, I should note, is also an acronym, the Marsh Appreciation and Restoration Society for Happiness. I know it's a mouthful, but it stands for the Marsh Project, and particularly the H. We can't forget that part. And like the name, our goal is to raise appreciation, to raise consciousness in our communities, so that we can restore and so that we can live in harmony and justice with the nature we call home. That is Charleston and our salt marshes and our tidal creeks like Gaston Creek. Over the past several years, we at the Marsh Project have engaged in litter sweeps in the marsh near our homes, removing thousands of pounds of trash. We've engaged in citizen science monitoring at our local creek, Halsey Creek, close to where I live. We've planted demonstration gardens and donated countless native plants and trees to our neighbors. And as a professor at the College of Charleston, I've worked with students and community members to learn about our unique salt marsh ecosystem, one of the most productive ecosystems in the world, right here in our backyard. We've done this in the spirit of Dr. Just, in the spirit of environmental justice, and the spirit of hope for future generations. As part of our efforts, we've dreamed up and studied an ecological corridor stretching across the peninsula of Charleston, from the Cooper River to the Ashley River, ecologically reconnecting the three remaining tidal creeks in downtown Charleston, Halsey Creek, close to where I live, to Newmarket Creek, and yes, where it all began, Gadsden Creek. The City of Charleston has got wind of these efforts, and Mayor Cogswell and City Council members have been supportive of the project. Councilmember Gregory, for instance, said at the Public Works meeting just a few weeks ago, discussing our efforts, it's all about being one with nature. Mika Gadsden, the new Director of Sustainability at the city, is now spearheading this project and has named the Eco Corridor the Just Eco Corridor in honor of Dr. Just. This would be the first urban ecological corridor in the U.S. South. And Charleston's known for many firsts, but this would be a truly positive first for all of us to celebrate. So real quick, to make sure we're on the same page, what exactly is an eco-corridor and what can you do? First, an eco-corridor reconnects communities to nature through continuous tree canopy cover, native plantings, enhanced green spaces, and safe pathways for people and, yes, birds and pollinators to move from one neighborhood or river or marsh to the next. It also offers a nature-based solution to deal with sea level rise and flooding. Nature, as Dr. Just knew, holds the answers for our future. So what can you do? To begin, please contact and ask your city council members to support the Just Eco Corridor and make sure they include Gaston Creek and our remaining tidal creeks here in Charleston in that corridor. You can also join the Eco Corridor on your property or at your home, agreeing to 10 aspirational goals for the Eco Corridor. You can become a member by signing up at themarshproject.com, and there's no charge. It's priceless. It's an aspirational goal for all of us to consider. And together we can restore our local environment and assure that future generations have access to clean and healthy environments. That is environmental justice. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Betty Neerman. I'm with St. John's Catholic Church. Small, but we're here. Today marks a historic moment for Charleston County. After years of persistent advocacy, countless meetings, and unwavering determination, we are thrilled to announce that Charleston County Council has finally established the Local Housing Trust Fund. On March 27th, Charleston County Council and the South Carolina Community Loan Fund made it official. This new revolving loan fund will support the development and preservation of workforce and affordable housing throughout our county. The initial funding is $8 million. And that comes from the accommodations taxes, with another possible $4 million from the budget. The victory belongs to each and every one of you. The power of community, the power of persistence, the power of showing up again and again has brought us to this moment. I'd like to ask everyone who has ever attended a county council meeting for this cause to please stand up. And a lot of you were there with me. I hope y'all were looking around. These are the champions who showed up when it mattered most. This is what persistence looks like, and this is what justice looks like. And now to tell us more about what we can expect from this transformative trust fund and the important next steps, I'm honored to introduce someone who has been a steadfast ally in this journey. Please welcome Councilman Rob Wehrman.
Well, thank y'all so much for having me, and I am so appreciative and inspired by seeing y'all showing up, and I'm glad tonight to be able to celebrate one of the victories that I know has been a long time coming for folks in this room, for folks throughout our entire community, and that was, as Ms. Neerman said, the creation of the Local Housing Trust Fund. This is something that Cajun was working on well before I even came on to council in 2020, or 2021, I should say. And it is something that I am glad to be here to share with you all. you know, it's been a long time coming. And the good thing, though, is we've already gotten a head start. So this program, and as y'all are very familiar, the trust fund is going to be, it is a fund. It's going to be administered by an agreement with the South Carolina Loan Fund, who, you know, they will take money that the county supplies, they will use it to distribute to nonprofits, to private sector, to anyone who can show that they have a great project for our community that is going to increase the affordable housing that we so desperately need. And they will administer that. A lot of it's going to be loans that will come back, so this program is sustainable, it builds on itself. And we have gotten a head start. We were able to basically start doing this with some one-time money back in 2022. With that money, we've produced over 700 new units of affordable housing. And I was running the numbers today, most of which is at 60% AMI or below. So this is not, you know, easy. This is not the low-hanging fruit. This is stuff that is deeply affordable to the folks who need it the most in our community. And our expectation is the trust fund's going to do much of the same thing. It's going to pick up where we left off, going to cycle in some of those funds, going to build on itself, and we are excited about the progress we've made and the progress to come. Just to put those numbers in some context, though, the county has done its studies. I know a lot of folks have done a number of studies. One of the numbers the county uses to estimate is a needed 29 to 36,000 new units in Charleston County. About a third of those would need to be at 80 AMI or below. And so if you do that number of 700 over the course of 2 years, you know, that's not the whole thing, but over the course of 10 years, that's a third of the issue. So that is a huge chunk that just the county can bring to the community, not to mention advocacy that we want to continue with the state, with the cities, with the federal government, with anyone who will listen. We want to keep building these opportunities. So this is a huge step, and I review it as sort of the foundational piece of how we're going to survive and tackle and thrive when we get past this housing crisis. But, you know, there's certainly more to be done. It's funded right now at about $8 million. That is funded through the state's accommodations tax. That law needs to be built on. That law has a sunset provision in 2030. We're going to need everyone's voices to be loud to extend that funding so we have a long-term funding source for this. We're going to need folks showing up as we on County Council work to find other means of funding it. The more we can put in now, the more it can build on itself, and the further along the mountain we can climb, the easier it's going to be to get over this. So we need everyone working together. We need everyone pulling in the same direction, and I am proud to have gotten to this point with all of you, but we've got a little ways left to go. Nevertheless, it's always good to celebrate the successes, and I thank you all so much for showing up and bringing this success to us.
And we have the unexpected pleasure of having Chairman of County Council, Reverend Middleton, to join us.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I simply came for the victory lap to say, when we fight, we win. And so as we continue moving forward and doing those things to make certain that we ensure housing for all, we just ask you never to give up. And along with Councilman Wehrman and the rest of County Council, it does matter who the chair is. I continue to say that every single time. I'll just say that one more time, just for the sake of the audience. And so as we align our agenda and as we begin to synchronize our priorities, we recognize that we must have housing for all. So thank you, Cajun, for everything you do. When we fight,
Well, hello, everyone. If you have been following the program, you expect to see the Reverend Cecilia D. Armstrong here. Don't be so sad. Oh, my God. She is not able to be here, but because we work in the same building every day, I guess they asked me to stand in. So I hope that you'll stomach me. I'm not as tall. I'm not as colorful, but I am the Reverend Dr. Brian C. Henderson, proud pastor of St. James Presbyterian Church. I think it's some folks from St. James here. On the lovely James Island. And I am super excited about the invitation that I'm going to give to you. But first, let's just real quick celebrate all the great victories we've heard about tonight. Come on, let's celebrate. And on Monday, June the 2nd at 6:30 p.m. at Greater St. Luke AME Church, we are hosting our annual celebration, and we need you to be there. In this upcoming celebration, we'll gather as a community, hearts united by courage, hands joined in purpose, and voices that refuse to be silenced. This will be a gathering of ordinary people that have done extraordinary things. We invite you to celebrate our victories. You've heard about many of them tonight. But another thing that we celebrate are the relationships, the friendships, and the bonds of sister and brotherhood that we have developed over these years of justice ministry. And I want to tell you a real quick story. This is a true story. So last week I went to a new doctor, my doctor for a particular ailment of mine. He retired, and so they assigned me to a new doctor. I went in to see the doctor, and when the doctor told me what church he went to, I said, "Aren't y'all a member of CAJM?" And he says, "Yes." And I said, "I am too." And he gave me 50% off of my doctor visit. No, he didn't. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. He might be here. No, he didn't. He didn't give me 50% off. But we did hug as brothers in the work of justice. And isn't it good to hug your doctor? That's a good thing to do. We united as friends and workers in the work of justice, and so I'm tickled pink about this celebration. And not only will we have fun and eat good food at the celebration on June the 2nd, but remember, this is also a fundraiser for our continued work. We all know that we have to invest financially in this work if we are going to succeed. But remember that your investment isn't just about money. Your investment is about power. It's about ensuring that our community's voice cannot be silenced. It's about creating an infrastructure that allows us to show up where we need to show up and where decisions are made. This fundraiser is how we ensure that the next time officials try to ignore our community, we have the resources to mobilize. The next time corporations try to dismiss our concerns, we have the capacity to organize. And the next time our opportunity comes for us to get things done, we get them done with power and in strength. So we encourage you to bring friends and family, help us to grow our movement, but also help us to introduce new people to this work, because every new person who experiences the energy of our celebration becomes a potential partner in the work of justice and helps us to get closer to our ambitious goal of $250,000 this year. Say amen if you think we're going to make it. Every person you bring and every dollar that is given is an investment that yields real results of justice, equality, and community power. And remember that your congregation has the opportunity to win the prestigious Justice Cup at our celebration. This honor goes to the congregation that meets the highest percentage of their investment goal, and we'll do it on June the 2nd. Parkside Church, anybody here from Parkside? They won last year. This is your opportunity as a congregation to get in the game and to win. Will your congregation win? I don't know, but you can get started today.
You can scan the QR that is on the screen, the QR code that's on the screen and on your agenda, and it'll start you in the process of giving. Or you can use the Cash App. That's $ capital D, do justice. Say $ capital D, do justice. And then you want to make sure that you note your congregation so we can know who to apply those funds to. Or when you leave today, there'll be folks outside who will gladly take your check and gladly swipe your card for the work of justice. Then you need to join us on June the 2nd at the celebration and bring whatever investment you are able to contribute. When you invest more, we organize more. When we organize more, we win more. And when we win more, our community thrives. This is not a charity, it's a strategy. It is a power-building move, and this is how we ensure that when we show up, we win. Save the date, June the 2nd, 6:30 p.m. at the Great and Gracious Greater St. Luke AME Church. When we show up, we win. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamar Dessner. I teach in our community, and I'm a member of KKBE Synagogue. Thank you all for coming tonight. Before we start, I need to explain how our negotiations will work. Tonight is important because the decisions our public officials make directly affect us. Too often, these decisions happen behind closed doors, without our input. But tonight, we bring these negotiations into the open where our community can witness them. We create a space where our collective voice must be heard. When we show up like this, hundreds of us together, we have the power to create real change in our community. This is showing up. Look around the room. We are Christians, Jews, Muslims, and people of other faiths and no faith. We are Black, white, Latino, Asian, and multiracial. We are young families, elders, and everyone in between. Some of us have faced these challenges personally, while others recognize that an injustice to one is an injustice to all. This diversity is our strength. It means we truly represent Charleston. When officials see us together, they see the whole community, not just one segment. This is showing up. Before I explain our format, I want to introduce our negotiating team for tonight's issues. For our North Charleston Policing Committee, we have Richard Hayes, a veteran and member of the Unitarian Church, and Michelle Brandt, Charleston County Parks and Rec Commissioner from St. James Presbyterian Church. For our School Governance Committee, we have Andy Massey, retired educator and member of St. Matthew's Lutheran Church, and Darren Lee Calhoun II, former CCSD board member and member of St. Mark's Episcopal Church. Our committees have put in countless hours researching these issues. Our negotiators' thorough preparation exemplifies our commitment to addressing problems with both passion and expertise. This is showing up. We have two clear and serious reasons for gathering. First, we need firm commitments from our officials to fix real problems in our community that have been identified by people who have been affected by these problems. Tonight, we are asking direct questions and demanding clear answers. Second, we are here to hold our officials accountable. Your presence tonight, whether this is your first action or not, strengthens our community voice. You being here tonight provides the power-backed accountability that we need to solve community problems. Our format tonight is straightforward and fair. Yes or no answers. In their official roles, these officials routinely cast votes on important issues affecting our community. When they vote at a city or council or county council, they must choose yes or no. There's no option for maybe or it's complicated. Their voting record creates clarity and accountability. Tonight, we simply ask for the same clarity they practice in their official voting. A clear yes or no tells us exactly where they stand on issues critical to our families and our neighborhoods. Timed responses. After providing a clear yes or no answer, each official will have 30 seconds to explain their position. You'll see a timer on the screen. At the end of our timer, our negotiators will either move to the next question, or if the answer was no, begin the negotiation process. This time limit ensures we can address all of our community's concerns tonight. At public meetings, these same officials enforce strict time limits on community members speaking. Tonight, we apply the same principle of structured time. Microphone control. Just as officials control the microphone at their meetings, we control it tonight. This is our meeting called by us, the community. Caucus when needed. If negotiations get stuck, our team might call a caucus to find a resolution. Our steering committees are made up of people directly affected by these issues and those who have researched solutions and are ready to help. No surprises. Everyone on stage received our questions ahead of time and agreed to this format. We're not trying to trick anyone. We're seeking honest answers to serious questions. Your role tonight as an audience is crucial. We respect the officials who've agreed to be here tonight. It takes courage to face hundreds of constituents and answer direct questions. This is not about attacking individuals. It's about holding our systems accountable to the people they serve. We are showing up with respect, firm expectations, and well-researched solutions. Tonight, please follow our directions. Watch for our volunteers with signs at the front who will signal when to applaud and when to remain quiet. With hundreds of us present, we must move as one unified body. The signs help everyone know exactly when to respond and how. Our collective power comes from our unity and discipline. Officials notice when hundreds of people respond with one voice at precisely the right moment. This organized approach demonstrates that we're not just individuals with complaints, but a well-organized community with shared concerns and solutions. There will be tense moments tonight. That's natural when we challenge systems that weren't built to serve everyone equally. These aren't abstract issues. They affect real people in this room and throughout Charleston. Your discipline tonight makes all the difference. When we speak with one voice, officials listen. When we stand together, change happens. When we show up, yes. Thank you.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. I'm Kathy Bennett, a Cajun member from St. John Catholic Church. When we started this work years ago, many doubted we could make a difference. But tonight, Mayor Burgess and Chief Camacho are here because they know what we know. There is power in community and collaboration. Our community has met with Chief Camacho several times, including just last week, when we prepared for tonight's event. These meetings show a willingness to collaborate that gives us hope. Chief Camacho has acknowledged the work isn't finished, but progress is happening. Tonight is about hearing commitments. The specific asks are in your information packet on page 6. But this is about more than just getting verbal promises. This is about establishing ourselves as accountability partners with this new leadership. We are asking the mayor and Chief Camacho to commit publicly to specific follow-up actions based on the recommendations of the racial bias audit, and these are: a community meeting to discuss the results of the audit and next steps, and additional bias training for North Charleston Police Department leadership. North Charleston can be a catalyst for change in the Low Country. This city has the opportunity to pioneer what true collaboration between police and community looks like. When groups like CAJM and police leadership work together, we create a model that other communities can follow. I'm not here to tell you that everything is fixed, it's not. But I am here to tell you that your voices, your presence, your persistence, they all matter. With new leadership across the board, North Charleston has the chance to lead the way to show Charleston, Mount Pleasant, and every other community in the Low Country what justice-centered, community-focused policing can be. When we keep showing up, when we speak with one united voice, when we hold our leaders accountable, that's when we win. And when North Charleston wins, the entire Low Country wins. Thank you all for being here tonight. This is how change happens, when ordinary people like us refuse to give up, refuse to be silent, and refuse to accept anything less than justice. When we show up, we win. Now I'd like to invite our negotiators, Mr. Richard Hayes and Ms. Michelle Brandt, to come to the podium.
Well, good evening. I would like to invite Mayor Reggie Burgess and Chief Ron Camacho to please join us on stage. Chief, you're up first. You get the mic. And welcome, Chief Camacho. First, I want to thank you for meeting with the CAJM Policing Committee 3 times in the past 2 months and for coming to this event. As part of your racial bias audit implementation, you have been collecting data on traffic stops now for 3 years. In North Charleston, the population is approximately 42% black, 39% white, and 13% Hispanic. In our understanding of the data your department shared with us, it shows there are approximately twice as many black drivers being stopped as white drivers. Will you, in collaboration with CAJM, host a community meeting that shares a thorough analysis inclusive of trends on the 22, 23, and 24 traffic stop data to understand the disproportionate number of black drivers being stopped compared to white drivers?
That's a yes! Woo!
You have 30 seconds if you want to say something.
We would love to share our data.
Turn the mic on.
Thank you. We would love to share our data with the community to really explain that. I think you have to look at this in a nuanced context, and given the opportunity with PowerPoint slides and really breaking down the data, we can explain that disparity.
Thank you very much, Chief. The second question, now that you have agreed on the community meeting, will you host this agreed upon community meeting by the end of this September 2025?
Yes.
Another yes!
Thank you very much. I know you're about 85% finished with your implementation plan, and hopefully by this summer you will be totally finished. We probably even have the data for summer 2025 also. So we think September is a great time to have it. So thank you very much. Did you want to say anything else?
No, I think that time frame works for us.
Good. Question 3. If within 1 week following this community meeting, will you meet with CAJM and community leaders to evaluate the meeting, discuss any analysis, concerns, and next steps in accordance with your implementation plan?
Yes.
Another yes.
And finally, question 4. One of the recommendations of the racial bias audit was recommendation 43.1, which states in part that the North Charleston Police Department should review their lessons plans for training topics to ensure they are specific for North Charleston Police Department and the North Charleston community, which are bias policing, ethics, handling the mentally ill, and problem-oriented policing, among others. This recommendation was partly in response to the tragic shooting of Walter Scott, and in an effort to offer more resources to your officers and engage the community more effectively, will you and the North Charleston Police Department leadership participate in bias training together with CAJM and the YWCA in accordance with the audit and your implementation plan?
No.
Could you explain why, sir?
Yes, we've been doing this training continuously, continue to do it continuously with the Department of Justice, State of South Carolina. So I believe that you, CAJM, might be under the impression that this is a check-the-box training that we just did once. This is a continuous training that we've been doing since the implementation and those first meetings with the YWCA.
And now we know you have been working with the YWCA on continued training and possibly funding from Cummins. Can you tell us if that's continuing?
It depended upon income stream.
Right.
Yes.
So let me adjust the question.
Okay.
If the income stream comes, will you participate in the bias training with CAJM and the YWCA in coordination with your plan?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Almost done. Thank you. Can we follow up with your department tomorrow to make arrangements?
I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
Can we follow up with your department to make arrangements tomorrow?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And in accordance with the rules, sir, you have 1 minute if you want to speak to the crowd, to CAJM.
No, I have a philosophy of transparency, and this is exactly what transparency is. As you get to know me, like you said multiple times, this is a brand new administration as far as the police department's concerned. I know the mayor has a year on me, a year plus on me. You'll find that I am very open. I think transparency is important to build trust, and you will continue to see that throughout my tenure as the Chief of Police of North Charleston.
Thank you very much, Chief. The Chief. Afterwards, we'll shake both of them. Yeah. Mayor Reggie Burgess to the. First, thank you for coming. I know you had to run from another engagement you had, and I appreciate you
Yes,
coming here in front of all the CAJM members.
Yes, sir.
Sir, Mayor Burgess, will you support Chief Camacho and the North Charleston Police Department in hosting the community meeting by the end of September?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's a yes.
Sir, 30 seconds if you want.
Of course, I support it because it's a needed thing. You guys know how I am, what I'm about. I'm about service to people. So whatever we can do to get to that point, even when I was the chief, we worked hard at it, and I got his back. That anything he needs to do in our communities, just get it done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And the second question, will you support North Charleston Police Department leadership participating in bias training convened by the CAJM and the YWCA in accordance with the audit and implementation plan and fight for those funds to have it?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Sir, thank you, and thank you so much for coming. You have 1 minute to talk to your people here in North Charleston.
Thank you all. I've been with you all since day one, since we were at Reynolds Avenue, the church there. And I was a deputy chief at that time. And I learned a whole lot. And I thank you all for actually keeping us, thinking at all times. But what I want you all to do for me, and I'm a God-fearing man, I want you all to do me a favor. In the city of North Charleston, our murder rate, our rape, robbery, aggravated assaults, burglary, larceny, and stolen cars are about 7 high crimes. And I'm an African American. I'm proud to say I'm African American. But the victims of these crimes look like me. The victim of these crimes look like me. 34 years I've been a cop. I may not get an amen, but that's the truth. And then the suspects of these crimes look like me, the majority of them. We need to come together and work on the root causes to criminal behavior. If we do more of that consistently and constantly, we can stop some of the things that you guys believe and see in the numbers that we're doing. And we can help them to manage them, to get them to understand that not everybody is that person that we think we're looking for. But we got to do it together, people. We got to do it together.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Zuriel Yamasaka. I'm 17 years old, and I'm a current junior at Academic Magnet High School. I want to express my gratitude, first and foremost, to the Charleston Area Justice Ministry for allowing me to speak tonight about the topic of education from the perspective that many of you don't hear that often from the perspective From the perspective of a student. Recently, I became interested in addressing some of the issues that our district is facing after many students, such as myself, became concerned about the future of education, not only at the district level, but at the state and federal level. There are around 50,000 kids attending public schools in Charleston County, and the school board and the community at large has a duty to address the issues that we as students are facing. Oftentimes, we as students are facing a mountain of issues that we are often felt to believe that we must climb alone. There is an appalling lack of diversity at Academic Magnet High School. There are students at Early College High School who have expressed that they don't feel like they're attending a high school, but more so a program, because they have zero access to extracurriculars, no access to any kind of after-school activities or sports whatsoever. Our students on James Island and in West Ashley are facing lack of quality infrastructure, lack of infrastructure that is addressing the sanitation issues they are facing, and this issue is also being faced by our students within West Ashley and Mount Pleasant, who are facing overcrowding and infrastructure that is not built to address the issues that they're facing. And of course, there are issues that are present across multiple schools: inadequate funding, lack of disciplinary reform, textbook censorship and removal, and lack of access to efficient technology and resources following new regulations on personal devices that I'm sure many of your kids have already told you about. These are issues that we as students care about, and we want to solve them with the school board collaboratively. Communication between the community and the school board must be bilateral and accessible. We as students are advocating for transparency and open communication between the district school board and their constituents. The school board must facilitate two-way conversation and community engagement that goes beyond simply 2 minutes on a podium. We want a panel that engages the community because the number of people who care about the issues we are facing is greater than the number of people who don't. The number of people who are looking to address the issues that the community is facing and the number of people who want to build a better community for everyone is greater than the number of people who want to tear the community down. As a nonpartisan panel, the interests and policies of our school board are bound to the people they serve and not to partisan politics. How is the Charleston County School Board going to incorporate the community in a collaborative solution to address the issues that I've listed that we as students care about? How is our district going to address the issues our students face in a way that engages the community and incorporates them into the solution instead of leaving them outside of a closed executive meeting room? Our district motto states that excellence is our standard, And the way that we achieve excellence is through two-sided community engagement to resolve problems, not just as an individual or as one group working in one way and one group working another way, but as a community working together. Two-sided community engagement to resolve problems together is possible. Excellence is possible, and it's possible because of the members of our community who are willing to show up and to engage with their school board, and for the school board members who must facilitate conversation between them, because when we show up, we as students, educators, parents, and concerned community members desire to work alongside the school board instead of what often happens, which is us working in their wake. It's important to note that having an engaged community working alongside a transparent school board is possible, but it requires engagement not only from us, but from the board as well. Because when we show up and when they show up with us, we win. Thank you, and have a good night.
Isn't he an amazing young man? Good evening. My name is Shara Fitzwater. I'm a member of Parkside Church and co-chair of CAJM's School Governance Committee. Our committee shares Zuriel's concerns about governance issues for our school district. This evening, we're grateful to have 4 members of the Charleston County School Board here. Mr. Kevin Hollenshed, Ms. Michelle Lieber, Dr. Carol Temple, and the board chair, Mr. Keith Grabowski. Our research continues to uncover evidence of dysfunction. While the individuals on elected boards change over time, we're advocating for policy changes and commitments that will fundamentally strengthen community engagement, transparency, and training. You can see the questions we're asking on page 6 of your agenda packet. With regard to community engagement, the CCSD policy manual states, the board is committed to a constant awareness of the concerns and desires of the whole community. It also stipulates, the board shall determine and use proactive strategies to ensure constructive two-way dialogue for input from students, parents, staff, and the community. And the board's annual work plan should include planned community outreach. Although the superintendent actively engages with the community, the board also has this responsibility. Public opportunities for community members to express their thoughts are currently limited to 2 minutes per speaker at the monthly board meetings. In the past, there were opportunities for public comment at the Audit and Finance Committee and Committee of the Whole. Beyond the one-way communications and public comment, there's no consistent way available for community members to engage in constructive two-way dialogue. A couple of board members host community meetings. Some attend events hosted by the superintendent, while others build email networks with individual constituents. There's a value in both public comment and interactive dialogue. Community engagement is addressed in our first 2 questions for the board members. Will you advocate for a policy that reinstates public comment period at the Committee of the Whole and all committee level meetings? And our second question is, will you advocate for a policy that would require board members to host public engagement sessions in their district to ensure constructive two-way dialogue at least once a quarter? Our next focus area is transparency. Laws, board policies, and parliamentary procedures establish the framework for the board's actions. Transparency is achieved following procedures and providing information to the public. CCSD serves over 51,000 students, has over 6,000 employees. The all-in budget exceeds $1.7 billion. 85 million, close to 5% of the revenues for the coming school year, are at risk in the current federal government budget chaos. Meanwhile, local revenues would be lower if there is a recession, reduced tourism, reduced port activity, or other fiscal pressures. Our 9 trustees oversee this extensive organization. Their deliberations and decisions have wide-reaching impact. Properly executed parliamentary procedure supports constructive trustee dialogue and effective decision-making in a respectful environment. Divergent perspectives are invited, including minority perspectives. Using the time effectively, equal voice and clear decision-making are achieved in efficient meetings. Optimally, a parliamentarian who is not a board member ensures legality of the meetings. The parliamentarian makes sure all items are properly placed on the agenda, and the board follows proper procedures. Our third question for the board members is about transparency. Will you advocate for the board to hire and retain a parliamentarian certified by the National Association of Parliamentarians who would be present at all school board meetings and ensure proper procedures are followed? Our last focus area is training. In our research visits, we heard from new and seasoned board members alike that they have a lot to learn. Understanding board procedures, legislation changes, risk management, and many more topics are essential to their role. CCSD policies state, the board will ensure that its members are provided with training and professional support necessary to govern effectively. Our fourth question is, will you advocate for the board to adopt a policy that requires each board member to annually acquire at least 20 points of education through the South Carolina School Board Association? This evening, we're asking board members to agree to solidify policies for community engagement, transparency, and training. Ultimately, these contribute to school governance to ensure our students' best interests are at the heart of decision-making, our educators are supported in their important work, and our community voice is embraced in their decisions. Now I invite our negotiators, Andy Massey and Darren Lee Calhoun II, to the podium.
Good evening. I'd like to invite our 4 board members to please come up to the stage, and Mr. Hollenshed, you will be first. As Shar said, this is the elucidation of a lot of research, going to board meetings, going to committee meetings, and we're very appreciative of all the board members being here. So we'll get right into it. Mr. Hollenshed, will you advocate for a policy that reinstates a public comment period at the Committee of the Whole and all committee level meetings?
Lord, yes.
You can have 30 seconds to comment on that if you would like.
Well, the public should have input in everything that we do. You can't give a sound judgment if you don't have public input. So I'm all for public input.
Thank you. Moving to our second question, will you advocate for a policy that would require board members to commit to hosting public engagement sessions in their district to ensure constructive two-way dialogue at least once a quarter?
Yes. As many of you know, the last tenure I had on the school board and president, I still hold community meetings in my community areas now with the general public to make sure that they know what's going on with the district and also know what's going on with their representative.
Will you advocate for the board to hire and retain a parliamentarian certified by the National Association of Parliamentarians to be present at all school board meetings and ensure all procedures are followed?
Yes, I will. And so, as you know, previously when I served on the board before, we had a parliamentarian, and he wasn't afraid to ruffle your feathers if you were wrong on the decision. I don't know what happened after I left and they got rid of that parliamentarian, but we need someone that can actually tell you when you're wrong and don't be offended by it.
Will you advocate for the board to adopt policy that requires each board member to annually acquire at least 20 points of education through the South Carolina School Board Association?
Yes, it will. Prior to my tenure, I also attended the National School Board Association. Your mind can't grow and you can't learn what happened. What you need to do as a function of the board member on the board, if you don't get out and meet other board members across the country and in the state, to be able to come back and share your ideas with the current board.
Well, thank you. You can have 1 minute to speak to the assembly.
Well, I tell you, God is good. As you can remember, 6 or 7 years ago, I was demonized and spent $1.5 million painting a false narrative of me. God has brought me back. We're engaging again in our community. One of the things I'm doing right now, we do the community meetings again. We also, in my district at Morningside, North Charleston High, is reestablishing the band program. We have to make sure that students have engagement to be able to have their mind to grow. Other than spend time in the classroom, they have to have other activities to make them want to visualize. The other thing, lastly, what we're doing is that we're doing a middle college tour within my district that I'm putting together now for next year that allows the middle school student to go on a college tour, to be able to see colleges and be able to help their mind grow. Again, children, if they don't get outside the area and understand what the possibilities are in life, they can't venture on. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hollenshed. We now would like Dr. Carol Temple to please come up to the microphone. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Dr. Temple, will you advocate for a policy that reinstates a public comment period at the Committee of the Whole and all committee level meetings?
Yes. I think it's essential for the public to have consistent ways to communicate with the school board, and I look forward to their comments at the Committee of the Whole and at Audit and Finance and at regular board meetings.
Thank you. Will you advocate for a policy that would require board members to commit to hosting public engagement sessions in their district to ensure constructive two-way dialogue at least once a quarter?
Yes. I want to say that I value hearing from my constituents. I take advantage of opportunities within the schools to attend their school improvement council meetings, and on our island we have intergovernmental meetings with all of our elected officials. I want to suggest that the board should consider public hearings to have input on issues that are important to our community.
Will you advocate for the board to hire and retain a parliamentarian certified by the National Association of Parliamentarians to be present at all school board meetings and ensure all proper procedures are followed?
Yes, and I want to give a little information on this. I think it's really important that we follow Robert's rules because that's essential to good governance. Hiring a parliamentarian can be pricey. It's about $250 an hour. So what I'd like for us also to consider is to recommend that our district's legal team be trained by this association and conduct workshops with the board. I don't know whether you're aware, but the National Association of Parliamentarians is coming to Charleston this summer, and that's a great opportunity for training.
And is that a confirmed rate that you have of $250 an hour?
Yes.
Will you advocate for the board to adopt policy that requires each board member to annually acquire at least 20 points of education through the South Carolina School Board Association?
Yes. As an educator myself and a lifelong learner, I know it's critical for us to acquire new ideas for best practices in education, as well as governance, accountability, and oversight. I will advocate that each board member has their own personal professional development plan to get to those hours.
And Dr. Temple, you can have 1 minute to address the assembly.
Thank you. I want to say that I appreciate the work of CAJM for quality public education. You've been there to help us get early childhood education. You've been there for us to establish restorative practices, and now you have a committee that is helping us with governance. It's helpful to have your perspectives on research and your proposals. We do have a new challenge. We're losing 54 community people on our constituent boards, and it means that our community is needed now more than ever for our schools, our teachers, and our students. Although the political challenges and dialogue are challenging our justice values, we must continue to stand by for equality, equity, inclusion, and diversity because our students need us to care for them. Please stay engaged, CAJM, because when we show up, we win. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Temple. And we invite Ms. Michelle Lieber to the microphone. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon. Evening.
Michelle, will you advocate for a policy that reinstates a public comment period at the Committee of the Whole and all committee level meetings?
Yes, I will.
You can comment.
I think it's absolutely important that the public engage with us. We are not omnipresent. We need all of you guys to engage on many, many issues. So I definitely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Will you advocate for a policy that requires board members to commit to hosting public engagement sessions in their district to ensure constructive two-way dialogue at least once a quarter?
Absolutely.
That's a yes.
I guess I don't know how to follow the rules.
Would you like to comment on that? Or?
Again, I really advocate for people to stand up, engage their government, engage. I'm here. I can't do this alone. We can't do this with the 9 board members. We need all public support.
Thank you.
Our kids deserve it.
Will you advocate for the board to hire and retain a parliamentarian certified by the National Association of Parliamentarians to be present at all school board meetings and ensure all proper procedures are followed?
No.
Please discuss.
So I do believe in proper order. However, I don't necessarily believe that we have to hire a certified parliamentarian to do that. But I think we as a board, we're very cordial to each other, and so getting things done and following policy is I'm advocating for. I don't see us being mean to each other, that we need that kind of.
In seeing that, though, have you encountered issues where parliamentary procedure was a hurdle in getting business done and it being efficient?
Well, being that I'm so new, I haven't. And my board members, we seem to be respectful of each other.
And how about, like, in the situation that I commented on, you know, where a policy was put through first reading when it never should have been advanced because proper parliamentary procedure and board policy wasn't followed?
That I definitely believe in procedure being appropriately followed, parliamentarian being appropriately followed. I just don't necessarily believe that certification is a requirement.
So not as a certification. Would you be amenable to increased education
Absolutely.
by the person that is tasked with making parliamentary rulings?
Absolutely, yes.
Do we need to caucus on that, or what's your feeling? Do we need to caucus about that, with that being a question? I think we take that as a yes, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Will you advocate for the board to adopt policy that requires each board member to annually acquire at least 20 points of education through the South Carolina School Board Association?
No.
And please discuss.
I definitely believe in getting absolutely the most amount of education to do my job. I don't necessarily think that using the South Carolina Board of Association is the end all. So I am looking for many, many ways and through many, many other people to get that education. In fact, I've invited CAJM to the Center for Self-Governance and their educational product.
So do you feel like that it's important, though, for additional education for every board member?
Absolutely.
So with that, would you be amenable to at least raising the bar of requirements?
Absolutely.
So that would be a yes, that you're amenable to?
Yes, sir.
Raising the bar. And with that, you know, you said specifically about us keeping it confined to the South Carolina School Board Association. That could then branch out to national boards and other meetings. But you would want a policy that raises the bar of education.
Absolutely.
Would you like to have a minute?
I have to say I'm impressed. I have advocated for self-governance for years, and having people step up and be willing to engage the elected officials or bureaucrats, I think is highly, highly important. And I can say, obviously, you guys warm my heart that you're willing to step up and fight.
We're calling a caucus just for a second, excuse me. I think it's back on, yeah. We were caucusing because we were looking for some clarity.
Okay.
And I didn't get that, so that's my fault. And I hated to steal the thunder of what you said at the end. So what we're really looking for is more of a commitment and a firm yes in the idea of advocating for a personal improvement plan for the board member. It can be through association trainings, South Carolina School Board Association, National Association of School Boards, and other associations. Would you agree to having board members have additional training with a personal plan through those types of organizations?
Can I ask a question? Oh, is it my personal plan, or is it?
we're looking for board
Yeah,
members to
yes.
have an improvement plan, is what, like Dr. Temple said?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Would you like to comment on that? I apologize for...
I think the most important thing is that this is for our children, and so we as 9 have to do it right. Every moment that child isn't educated and our community is neglected. So the moment that we sit idle and do not allow our children to have the proper education, we deserve an A-plus community, and we deserve it here in Charleston, not someplace else, not in another country. We deserve A-class education here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Grabowski, please come to the microphone.
It's a tough act to follow.
Will you advocate for a policy that reinstates a public comment period at the Committee of the Whole and all committee level meetings?
Yes.
Please comment.
At Committee of the Whole, what I'd like to see is that it would be at the end of Committee of the Whole, because that's when we get the issues first. And so I would expect them to have it at the end after we've had an opportunity to debate. So that's when I think public comment would work. As to audit and finance, I'm a strong favor. Unfortunately, when it was brought up to the committee, the professionals on the committee that are subject matter experts and volunteer their time voted against public comment. So while I'm advocating for it, I do stand by my committee. Unfortunately, it's their time, and they voted against public comment. But I am in favor of public comment at all committee meetings. But I do stand by, the majority.
So, but what I'm hearing, are you willing to specifically
Advocate.
bring up that and have it voted on to introduce public comment again?
I did.
So can we make that policy?
I'm one board member, as Mr. Calhoun knows.
But you're
I would advocate for it.
You already have, based on our comments, 4 people that are for this. You're the chairman of the board.
And that's why there are only 4 of us here, because if we had a 5th one, then we would be in violation of FOIA. And if we were in violation of FOIA, because then a decision. So while I advocated, would I bring it up? Yes, I'd bring it up. But I'm only one, and it takes a majority.
So what I'm hearing from you, to make sure we're confirmed, though, is that based on the responses we've got, we can expect to see this come up at the board as a matter, because we have 4 people, it should be on the agenda.
Whether it's brought up on the agenda, that takes a board member and 4 signatures. You're correct, as you well know.
Yeah.
Has it been brought up? It's been brought up to the Audit and Finance Committee.
Yeah. Well,
but as to Committee of the Whole, just so we're clear, I'm an advocate for it. And if I have 4 other signatures for it, I would have no problem bringing such a motion, with the caveat that it is going to be at the end of the meeting. Because I feel that very strongly about this, that putting it like at the board meeting. Board meeting's a different issue because they've had opportunity, like the board, to review the issues.
Right, so with that, what we're saying and asking for is, will it be on the next agenda as an item?
I can't guarantee that. I won't guarantee that. We're working on a $1.5 billion budget. I'm not going to guarantee that. And other policy issues. So will it come up in the near future? I will advocate to that.
Will you advocate for a policy that would require board members to commit to hosting public engagement sessions in their district to ensure constructive two-way dialogue at least once a quarter?
Yes. Probably one of the most frustrating things being a trustee is trying to engage with your constituents. So more of the opportunities, I've attended a lot of the breakfasts and lunches, but having a trustee host a meeting for the constituents, phenomenal. It's all about money, but it's phenomenal. It's a great idea.
Thank you. Will you advocate for the board to hire and retain a parliamentarian certified by the National Association of Parliamentarians to be present at all school board meetings and ensure all proper procedures are followed?
No.
Please explain.
We have legal counsel already. They're available to advise on process, policy, and compliance. The core issue for public trust is transparency, not the interpretation of Robert's rules. And transparency is governed by South Carolina's Freedom of Information Act. I will, though, agree with my fellow board members that our council that are attending should be better trained on Robert's rules.
So with that, will you proactively ask for more training by the legal counsel giving you that?
I'm a recovering attorney. I have a hard time telling an active attorney what they should or should not do. I do believe that if I felt that our attorneys were not providing us with accurate, representation of Robert's rules, but it's a very fine line. I'm not going to get, as an attorney, I feel like I'm stepping over the bounds in making that type of discussion. I do believe that they should be trained in it, but I have to be careful here.
Do you have a timetable that you think that you could request that they obtain more training?
No, but I think it is definitely a discussion that, should my other fellow board members feel that it needs to be held, that we can have that.
And Chairman Grabowski, the reason we're asking these questions is our presence at school board meetings and watching, we're seeing that it's not working, and it's not working. There were a couple of instances where there was some problems. So
I think in the first 2 years, I think we got off to a shaky start. I think it's gotten much better. As board chair, my job is to, moderate a meeting, to allow everybody to speak, to allow motions to be presented, and to allow motions to be voted on. I think we're doing a good job at that. If we weren't,
okay,
there are ramifications.
We're going to call a brief caucus. So, our train of thought is teachers have to get continuing ed, have professional development plan.
Yeah, back up again.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so the question being, kind of just refocus for you to just give us a clear answer. Would you commit to asking the legal counsel that's responsible for the proper parliamentary procedure being followed at board members to obtain additional training?
Like I said, no, I'm not going to ask the legal counsel because I think our legal counsel is well qualified to do his job. To get staff members, the staff legal counsel, would I request them to possibly get Robert's, some better training on Robert's rule? Yes. But our general counsel that attends our board meetings, no, I'm not going to ask him to get training.
Thank you. Will you advocate for the board to adopt policy that requires each board member to annually acquire at least 20 points of education through the South Carolina School Board Association?
No.
Can you explain?
I agree that we need more training. I just wouldn't limit it to the South Carolina School Board. Your other answer in your other discussion, I felt was a very strong, valid answer. The National School Board Association. There are a lot of other organizations, but to limit it to just the South Carolina School Board Association, no. I go to every one of their conferences, and that's a 2-day period. But I think the requirement of additional training, yes, I would advocate for that.
So you would advocate for additional training. I think we also talked about
on a yearly basis.
On a yearly basis.
As an attorney, I have to do it. As a certified teacher, they have to do it. I have no problem advocating, to have my, fellow. It's just a matter of money.
And I think we added with the board member kind of having a development plan similar to what you see with a teacher.
Correct. So in the year upcoming, as we start the budget process, I think this is a good discussion to have to increase, the budget's funding. It's one of our issues that we do have. We don't have enough money set aside for board expenses. Should we increase it? Yes. Why should we increase it? For the reason you're talking about.
So I've heard to that question a yes for additional training with a plan.
I'm sorry?
The question we had was additional training. You're recommending, you would advocate for additional training with a plan, and it can be through numerous associations as we described.
Absolutely. I think it's a discussion
That's a yes.
the board should have. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. We'd like to give you the floor for a minute.
I'm honored to be here. Like I said, I am a strong advocate for public engagement. I regularly participate in sessions like this. I was here last year. It's a two-way dialogue, and that's the most critical thing. I ask you, are you willing to use your platform not just to hold school leaders accountable, but to challenge and prepare parents to send us children who are ready to learn and be respectful? Districts don't raise children. Parents do. We educate them. We need you to help prevent parents understand that education is a shared mission, not a handoff. We have to get a hold of this truancy rate. We have to get these kids sitting in their seats. We have to be advocates for our parents to help them, whatever it takes, whether it's jobs, housing. We are just seeing this truancy rate take over, and that means kids aren't in their seats. We have disciplinary problems. Teachers can't. It only takes one child to disrupt a class. So it's a challenge. But we as a community have to pull together. It's a two-way dialogue, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thanks to our school board members. We appreciate your participation, and we really enjoy working with you for the education of our children.
It's a school night, so Zuriel, my daughter, and all those students out there will make this brief. But school can be like justice work because part of it is showing up. And when we show up, that's right, my name is Jared Hove. I'm a proud member of Circular Congregational Church. Woo! And I'm proud to serve as CAJM's vice president. Speaking of winning, Tonight we heard about wins that we've won over time in policing equity, affordable housing, protecting Gadsden Creek. Tonight on this stage just now, we heard yeses for partnership and transparency in policing, and we've heard some commitments for advocacy for the school board. But issues are not only won with yeses on stage tonight. When we get yeses, we need to continue showing up if we want to see those changes happen. So as we conclude our 13th annual Nehemiah Action, we know this gathering is going to be far from our last. We can and should celebrate that we've come together, that we've raised our voice, that we've done our research, and we've worked to make Charleston a more just place. But we don't need to look too far to know there's still more work to do. Isabel Wilkerson compared America to an old house. We can think of Charleston that way too. Some of the pipes are old, the joists creak, there might be a leak in the roof. And by the way, those old pipes, those old joists, that old roof was put in place a long time ago. But we live in that house today. It's a place where we all want to feel safe, we want to feel respected, a place where we all want to feel some dignity. We can't call back the roofer or the old contractors. If this is a house we want to live in and cherish, we're the ones who are going to make it that way. And if we want our children to be proud to call this place home, we all got to do our part to make it so. That's why when we've been saying tonight, we show up, it's not exclusive. Look around you. Really do. On your left and your right, this is we. And it can be many more of us. When we show up, we simply means people who share a common commitment to making Charleston a more just, a more fair place for everyone. We is multiracial, it's diverse, it's of different faith traditions, it's agnostic, it's young, it's old, it's big, it's small. We can be everybody. There's no limit on the number of people who can show up for justice. We need to think about winning too. Too often these days, loud voices present winning as a zero-sum game. If I win, it automatically means you lose. Well, guess what? Justice doesn't work like that. When we win in justice work, we all win. When our environment is protected, we all breathe cleaner air. When there is trust and fairness in policing, we are all safer. When every kid is included and successful in school, we all benefit. I want to win. I want you to win too. And we know what it'll take. So let's keep showing up, let's keep winning, because when we show up, thank you. And thank the person next to you for showing up too. Be safe. We'll see you on June 2nd for the celebration. Good night and thank you.